There's been a running sentiment in a lot of the news and industry media that I consume that suggests that the state of the gaming industry is probably only going to get worse before it gets any better. And the news that we got today would help suggest just that. If many of you didn't know at all, we just got the announcement today that Rooster Teeth will be shutting down after 21 years. Now, the interesting thing about this was to see a lot of people not necessarily realize kind of the ins and outs of this entire situation. So I'm going to pull up the Deadline article that dropped for you here. So I saw a lot of people say that they actually didn't realize that Warner Bros. Discovery was actually the parent company that owned Rooster Teeth. And it's been known for its popular YouTube channels. You got a lot of people talking about their sentiment of growing up with red versus blue. And this all kind of stems from WB having an inability to sell the company. It's one of those things that it looks like they were trying to trim it off for a little while, try to find a buyer. And when they weren't able to secure it, they completely cut the funding entirely and shut everything down. The thing is that this really does mark an end of an era in digital media. The fact that Rooster Teeth was going on for upwards of 2 decades it's an incredible feat. And the fact of the matter is, at least from the sentiments that I was reading, it's not like they were unsuccessful by any means. And at the very least, I don't have any know-how in the ins and outs of like the profit margins that maybe they had, but it goes to show you that at least my interesting take on it is that we've been hearing a lot of these companies in the gaming and media space talk about having some of the highest profits that they've ever had. You know, Warner Bros. Discovery made like $1 billion off of Barbie, while also at the same time using projects like the Acme versus Coyote, shutting that down for a tax write-off. And so if you're having all of these savings and tax write-offs at the same time making very successful projects, it begs the question, like, what is the meaning of this? You know, like, it still hasn't clicked to me, making more money but then not having the money to like sustain, basically. And then the issue then comes in that you start to hear about the size of certain bonuses of, you know, higher echelon employees or executives. And at what point will we find a balance between the art that the artist creates and making money? Because profits are important. No business runs without making money. But the fact of the matter is, I was actually watching a video the other day where a guy talked about, you know, certain games back in the day made for, you know, maybe $100 million or something like that, or $12 million, you know, ranges from much lower budgets that maybe didn't have like crazy overselling, but they were loved by all to the point that they've still lasted all these years. And I feel like we're kind of losing that. We're losing the sentiment of properties and media that people will appreciate for years to come. Now, apparently this is a part of a larger effort for WB to streamline their operations, focus on core businesses. And this really interesting that this comes right after the announcement that WB Games plans to shift their focus away from AAA titles and focus on live service games. I know I've said this before, but like, we really do have a suffering from Fortnite's success in the live service model, because basically all that these businesses are kind of seeing is the dollar signs. And in chasing after it, we might have some good games that come of it. You know, we just had Helldivers 2, which is being very well received. But at the same time, on the other hand, you have things like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League that you sit there and ask yourself, like, what purpose did it serve to be live service? I feel like we're losing the thought process of, does this business plan for this specific game actually make sense, or are we trying to shoehorn it in to make money long term? It's crazy because I didn't even consider the other things that would be affected by this. I know that they had the Rooster Teeth Digital Creators Program, you know, obviously with being shut down, that now affects, content creators who were a part of that effort. And the article goes on to have the memo that they had earlier today. And I think that one of the saddest things is, as I'm reading through this and the people who are affected, one of the things I actually saw, I can't find the post now, but one person actually mentioned that their boyfriend, they found out that they were losing their jobs today, right before this information went public. And it's just a shame, because you then see these individuals essentially being left out high and dry. I said that, but actually here it is right here. Just watch my boyfriend and all of our friends lose their jobs in an instant. To find out in an all hands meeting right before it was public is insane. They should have got more warning. Like, it doesn't make any sense to just blindside people in this way. I don't know if I'll always cover news in this way or be this quick, but this seemed really important for me to cover, just because I've been very vocal about not really understanding the state of the gaming industry. We've recently had layoffs ranging all the way from EA, Microsoft, and even PlayStation shutting down multiple divisions, even in some of their most successful studios like Insomniac Games. And what makes me even more sad is that it doesn't feel like this is gonna stop here. But if you ever want to talk about the state of the gaming industry, this is a place that you can always come to ask questions. I try to keep up with this information as much as I can, even if you don't necessarily see me post a video on it. I'm usually pretty vocal on social media. So that's all that I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.